everyone! What is good? Welcome back to the channel. This is Silver Hyena. Yada yada yada, you know the drill by now. Anyways, today's video, I want to revisit these glitter paints because, well, while I had a lot of fun using them, I wasn't entirely happy with what I came up with. However, well, my original idea I was going to do before I did whatever it was I did in that last video. For those of you that don't know, I will have a link in the description below. Yeah, I wasn't exactly thrilled with how that came out. However, this time, instead of just going in with the glitter paints by themselves only, just a sec, I'm bringing in a little bit of help. This is my Arteza palette, and I'm also gonna bring in the Derwent Watercolor Pencils. So there's gonna be a lot going on, and what I want to do is use the glitter as more of an on top of, instead of trying to build up layers and layers and layers of the glitter paint, which, while the glitter paint looks great, it just doesn't quite build up the same kind of depth of color that, say, a more regular watercolor does. So I want to test out and see if these are just better for more accent, or a topper, if you will. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Now, while this sketch is being drawn at lightning fast speed, I'd like to take a moment to recommend a wonderful website called Pixabay.com. I'll have a link in the description below for you lovely people. This website has a ton of free-to-use, royalty-free images. If you find yourself in need of references, I'd recommend this site as a great starting point. They've got everything from landscapes and plants to animals, humans, including specific focuses like hands, eyes, and feet. It is a glorious website, and I highly suggest checking it out. Now, I altered the image quite a bit, color changes, added the little phoenixy fancy bits. But considering that this is an animal that I don't draw terribly often, Pixabay was a huge help. They were helpful with the flowers too, nearly forgot to mention that. Have you ever heard of Pixabay? If so, do you use them? Post below. Okay, so now that the line work is done, I was going to go in with these babies, use the watercolor pencils to do the first few coats, and instead of just using straight up water, after I do the watercolor pencils, I was actually going to go over them with the Arteza Watercolors. So let's see here, I have this grand idea in my mind, but maybe before I get too carried away, I should test this out. So yeah, might be a good idea. So I'm just gonna move this off screen for now. Move in this little test sample bit. Yeah, because now that I think about it, I haven't exactly tested this theory. So let's just give this a try. This is one of the colors I'm going to be using. Alrighty, so here's my painted Arteza palette. And if you're interested in watching how I did this, I will have a link for that in the description below. There we are. Okay, come on. Open! Oh, come on, don't do this to me. There we go. Okay, I don't have any water right now, but I do have water in here, so good enough. Let's re-wet that, and let's see what we get. Ooh. Me likey. I think that looks really, really good. Okay, well, I'm really, really glad I tested that out, and now you know. Arteza Watercolors play well with Derwent Watercolor Pencils, so yay! Anyways, time to switch stuff around again. And I do not have enough room on this tiny desk, but I'm gonna make it work. So, let's get coloring. I seriously love this style. The main focus of the illustration inked while the background isn't. It really adds a lovely pop to the scene, I think. Starting off, I know that I've already reviewed the Derwent Watercolor Pencils. However, I really think that this broadens the horizons of just what you can do with these. Just in case you didn't see the video, link will be in the description below. I just used water and my Ohuhu water brushes in that video. Now, adding watercolor paints to the watercolor pencils really takes things up to the next level. I know, mind officially blown. Why I never thought of this earlier, I don't know. Well, I'm sure many of you are just going, well, duh, silver, but I digress. If you haven't thought of this, well, you're welcome. Using watercolor paints instead of just water really adds an extra layer of depth. Also, one of the things that I noticed when I first used the Derwent watercolor pencils was that these watercolor pencils didn't really dissolve all the way in water alone. But with the watercolors, they mix together spectacularly. Now, I'd like to revisit my Fine Touch watercolor pencils, try them out with Arteza Watercolors, or if I'm feeling extra fancy, my Daniel Smith watercolors. Combine a little bit of the luxurious with the uber cheap. What do you think? So there's some videos to keep an eye out for. Also, don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on the bell notifications so that you'll always know when I post a new video. I'd also just like to take a moment to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed thus far. You're all absolute legends. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of break from the painting to define these lines a little bit more, and I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but don't be too bothered. Just neighbor kids doing what the neighbor kids do. Running around screaming. It's a relatively nice day today while I'm filming, so even though it's really, really freaking hot out. So while I'm doing this, of course, since my fan makes way too much noise, I had to turn it off, and I am already starting to really feel the heat. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to keep this up. Anyways, what I'm doing is these are just my Prismacolor pencils that I'm using over the Col-Erase to just define the lines a bit more before I do the paint. Now then, with the background, I was just going to go in with watercolor only, just so that it is more transparent, so that our lovely little phoenix here stands out more. Yeah, the first time I used these, the Derwent colored watercolor pencils, I wasn't even thinking, oh, maybe I should try it with watercolor. Nope, I just went in with straight water. However, though, that might be a good thing in hindsight, because now you can really see the difference and compare for yourself. I love the effects with the watercolor myself. I think it's vastly superior to just using straight up water. However, if straight up water is all you got, then you can do that too. That's the wonderful thing about these supplies. It's very versatile. And my goodness, is it hot out. So I am probably gonna need to just speed this up, because I am not sure how long I'm gonna be able to last before I melt into my work desk. So hang on and give me a minute. Alright, so things are looking good so far, but now it is time to bring out the whole purpose of this video. Here it is. Come on! There we go. Lovely, glittery watercolor paints. They are just so pretty. Yeah, just looking at them, I mean, like, even though, yeah, I've used it before and you can see the mess, just bask in the glory. Okay, enough basking. Let's get to painting. Now, I actually picked up several brushes that I only use with the glitter paint, because I am somewhat paranoid and I don't want glitter mixing in with everything else, which is why I use the Arteza and the watercolor paint. Okay, yes, those are watercolor paints, but I meant to say the Derwent Watercolor Pencils. However, now that that's done, it is time to add some glitz and glamour. I am running out of room here, seriously. So let's start things off. Let's get some water here. These little eyedropper things are actually really nice. These little eyedropper bottles, very nice, very precise. I like it. Now then, my goal here is not to smother the piece. I just want to add some nice little accents. and I found that before they are dry, sometimes you can't really tell if it's shiny from wet or shiny from glitter. However, just in case you didn't see the first video, here is a finished swatch sheet, so you can really, some of them are far more glittery / metallic than others. Like some of these are really more metallic, like especially that one. However, I do think that all of these colors are absolutely beautiful. Oh yeah, by the way, tissues, they're your friend. So, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Now, sadly, it didn't really show up as well on camera as I hoped it would, but I assure you that there is indeed glitter, and it is glorious. Okay, so here we are, finished and dried. Hopefully you can see that there is definitely some metallic-y, glittery goodness on the page. However, it is a lot more subdued than my first attempt, which, again, if you are curious about that, I will have a link to it in the description below. So, my overall thoughts on these, are they worth it? From a personal standpoint, I would say yes. I really, really enjoyed using these. I really like the added metallic and glittery shimmer shine that it adds. It can just make a piece really pop out a little bit more. Now then, do I think that they work better as standalone or as accents? I've definitely got to say I think that they work better as accents rather than standalone, just because, while I love them, it is harder to get those darker darks, and I want to say lighter lights, but I'm not sure if that's really the case, but because a lot of these are very, very light and translucent, so you don't really get those darks. However, because they are so light and translucent, they go over other mediums very, very easily. So I definitely think that these are better for an accent, kind of a add on top of a painting you've already done. But this is just my personal preference. However, I enjoyed them. I know I keep saying that, but that is because that is the truth. I enjoyed using them. I enjoyed creating this art piece. So, if I had to give these paints a numerical rating, I would definitely say that a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 would be more than fair. Now then, I'm pretty sure that there are other brands of glitter, metallic, whatever kind of watercolor paints that are even better. I just need to find them and buy them and review them. Because of course my collection is still too small. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it helped you out in some way. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Anyways, this is Silver Hyena signing off, and I think we could all use some more glitter in our lives. Stay creative, everybody. Bye!